Hello and welcome back to CADvent 2024. We are on day 14 of 24 days of festive designs in Autodesk Fusion. For today, we are going to be designing a little festive Christmas tree keyring that you can print on either a dual colour printer or a single colour printer. If you've got a fancy printer like the Bamboos, you can start putting in multiple different colours. They're just these small little trees, and we'll go through how you do this in Fusion. So starting off, I'm going to create a sketch on the XY plane, and this is going to be the basis for my keyring. So I don't want it to be too big. So I'm going to give myself a line for the height of this. I want this a construction line, and that's going to be 31.5 millimeters. And that's just my overall height of the keyring. I'm then going to use the line tool, turn off construction lines, and just build up that Christmas tree shape that I want to have. And give it an outline, and then I will start adding in some dimensions. So I'm just using the trick where I can take off a line to make sure that they are collinear. So the first dimension that I want is going to be this one down at the bottom, and that is going to be 24. I'm then going to add in some symmetry. So using the constraints and symmetry, I'm going to select those two top ones, my center line, the next two, my center line, and then the next two and my center line. Now I want to bring a midpoint constraint of that line at the bottom down to the origin. I'm then going to add a dimension from here to here. And I want this to be evenly split over the whole height. So I'm going to grab that dimension and click divide by 3. And then the same for this one. So you can either type in the same, or I can just click that dimension there, and that will snap into place. I'm going to add a collinear constraint between this line. I'm going to add a collinear constraint between this line and this one. And again, a second collinear constraint between this line and this line. I then want to add in a dimension of 6 millimeters here and a dimension of 18 millimeters here. That one is 9.75, and between there and there is going to be 18. I then want to add in a dimension of these two, and I'd like those to be equal. And that there gives me my overall dimensions on the part, and I just want to add in a kind of bottom piece for the trunk of the tree there. So I want that line to be horizontal. The dimension of that I want to be 7.5. This one to be 3, and another symmetry. So I want that line and that line to be symmetrical around there. And you can see there that gives a fully defined and constrained sketch. So I'm going to click Finish Sketch, and then I'm going to extrude those two profiles by 1 millimeter. So 1 millimeter thick. I'm then going to add in some fillets. So using the fillet tool, I'm going to do these 6 points on the tree. So grab all of those 6 points, and that's going to be a fillet of 0.5. I've accidentally added so unselect that one and add that one. So there we go, that's 0.5. Clicking the plus button to add in some further fillets in the same operation. So I'm going to grab all of these kind of internal and the ones around the bottom of the trunk there. And this is just going to give it a slightly smoother finish for the print. So that one's going to be 0.2. And then the final one I'm going to add is to the top, and that is going to be 1.5, just to round off the top. And there is our basic outline of the tree. And I want to add some decorations to this. So I'm going to use a little trick. I'm going to create a spline and then use the pipe tool for this. So creating a spline, I just need to go off the edge of the part. So adding in these 3 lines that are going to be my tinsel on the tree. And then what you can do with the spline tool is just use these handles to give it a little bit of bend, a little bit of shape. So that line is kind of how you want it to be. And you can sort of add as much bend and as much shape as you like into how you want the tinsel to look on your part. So just play around with that until you're happy with how it looks. And once you're finished with that, click Finish Sketch. We'll then create a pipe. So using the pipe tool, I'm going to grab this. I want the section size to be 1mm and I want to join that. So clicking OK. You have to do these as 3 separate operations. So just view your sketch, create a pipe and do that again for each. Create a pipe and do that again for each of the 3 tinsel pieces in the sketch. So create and pipe, and then the operation is join on that. I then need to cut off the excess. So I'm going to modify and split body. So the body that I want to select, so select the whole thing, and then the profile is the outer profile of the tree. And just check that's extending as you want it to and click OK. We've then got a number of bodies. So selecting the 6 bodies that we don't want in the tree here, and right click and remove. And that gets us down to just the single body that we want for this tree. I'm then going to add in the baubles. So creating another sketch on that top plane, I'm going to just draw some circles where I want the baubles to be. And it's up to you where you want to place these. Just kind of spread them around until you're happy with where they're sitting and how that looks in your design. So you can add in as many as you like and place them wherever you would like to on your design. Now I'd like all of mine to be the same size, so I'm going to dimension one of those as a 1.5mm diameter. And then select, using the Shift key on my keyboard, select every single one of those circles that I have drawn. And then I'm going to use an equal constraint to make sure they're all the same size. And there we go. And you can just alter the position of those baubles if you'd like to move them around at all. Once you've done that, finish the sketch. And then you're going to extrude each one of those circles that you have created. And you want to extrude these by a length of 0.75mm. And that extrudes them out to create that there. I'm then going to add in a fillet. So again, selecting each one of those outside areas of the top ring on each of those extrusions. And I want to add a fillet of 0.75 to give that rounded effect of the baubles. You might want to go in and add a second one here, move them around depending on how you want the tree to look. Once we've done that, I'm going to create a sketch on the back plane and I'm going to use the off tool. So modify and offset, grab that outer profile, and I want to do an offset of 1mm. And then what I'm going to do is add in a location to add the keyring. So creating a circle of diameter 3mm, I'm then going to do an offset from that circle of 1.2 as my extrusion width is 0.4. I'm going to add in a tangent constraint of that bigger circle to the top of the tree there. And then finally just add in some lines straight down to the tree there to create a enclosed profile. Adding in a vertical and horizontal constraint and then a tangent constraint to these there. Finally, I want to add a horizontal and vertical constraint between the center of the circle and the top of the tree there to fully define my sketch. I'm then going to create an extrude, selecting all of those profiles and the distance that I want to do, so you can just drag the arrow to make sure you're going in the right direction, is minus 0.6. And that is just going to give us a bit of a flat base to our keyring there. And then one final thing to do is to add in a fillet just to round this edge off here. So grab that edge there and the same one on the other side, and that's going to be a 5mm fillet there. Now, if you are printing this on a single extrusion printer, you can go ahead and save the STL file out at this point. Or if you have a fancy slicer where you can paint different colors in the slicer for dual material, you can also save out as one single STL at this point. If you're using an extruder system that you need to have different bodies for each of the different colors, this is where you can split the bodies up in Fusion and export them. So if you need to do this, go split body, modify split body, select the body, and then your splitting tool is going to be this top face. So we want to select that face, and if I go right hand view, you'll see where that's splitting the body. So we're splitting that to cut off the tinsel and the baubles on the part there. So clicking OK, this will create a number of bodies. So those are all in one body. So these are all the individual bodies that you can then use in your slicer and the body there. Now to export this, you can right click Save as Mesh, and instead of one file, you can say one body per file. And this will create a single STL for each of the bodies in there. You can then load that up into your slicer, arrange it on your slicer and select different colors if you have that type of 3D printer. If you've got any questions, please do post them in the comments below. If you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to make any suggestions for what I can do for the rest of CADvent, please do let me know. And I will see you in the next video.